180 naira per liter. Yeah. It looks it's a big conversation we'd like to have with Mr. Rawani later on about the issue of privatization, a deep dive, flip-flopping in Nigeria. We've not been able to rescue that, and if there's anything the private and the public sector can have a handshake, and if that will help resolve some of this issue. But sticking with the commodities market, I'm just thinking, where do you think the cooking gas, because if I don't have a generator to do this, if I'm cooking, have a restaurant, fast food, whatever food you call it, gas is very important.
Exactly.
So, what's cooking with cooking gas?
So, first of all, there's an inverse relationship between the price of kerosene and the price of cooking gas. So, when there's increased cooking gas availability in the market, people are less inclined to, and I'm even talking about households now, households are less inclined to, utilize kerosene to, power their stoves and cookers. So that inverse relationship exists. So if the price of kerosene is currently at a stubborn high at the moment, that inverse relationship means that the price of cooking gas is now the price of cooking gas is competitive for households. So households can afford to buy cooking gas at the rate that they're buying.
We also import cooking gas, don't we?
Yes, we do. We also we have to also look at the infrastructure. If we want to go back to the downstream, you have to look at the infrastructure involved. So gas infrastructure, we still have a long way to go in terms of gas infrastructure. That's of the distribution, that transcends beyond the refining and the distribution of this cooking gas. So we still have a long way to go. We still import and we use our domestic supply to address the demand in the markets. But like I said, that inverse relationship exists. So kerosene at the moment is stubbornly high and availability is quite squeezed at the moment. So cooking gas is having a field day right now.
I don't want to mention the alternative to cooking gas. We're coming from petrol, kerosene, diesel, and gas. I don't want to talk about firewood because I don't want to go there. We have a great issue with the environment, how dangerous that is, and what have you. So I'm not going to talk about using firewood.
And also the capacity for firewood. Like people are living side by side. Where are you going to set up the firewood? So. There's
firewood, there is coal or charcoal that comes out of firewood, which some folks also use as energy just to make life go by. Quite a very tough time and tough area we live in. Thank you very much for coming through, and welcome to the month of June. Hope to see you later in the month. Amaka Ajayibo, who is a research analyst with financial derivatives. We're going to continue the conversation on petroleum refinery, but hold on. Let's squeeze in this market. The oil and gas stocks, the big seven, 4 of them were in negative, 3 in negative territory, 1 in positive territory on Wednesday. The sector lost 2.36%. Okay, bring it up. Thank you. Corn oil in red, 0.29%, 3.386 million. Ordinary shares changing is 35 naira. Stagnant share price lower by that percentage, and you find 40 Oil, Mobil, and MIS. MIS remain unchanged, even with his facts behind the figures presentation to the market in the week. And you can see the flip side. Owando lost 4.95, one of the companies in the news as far as the refinery concession or partnership agreement with the IGPNI and the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. And we're going to talk about that after the break. Seplat is holding an annual shareholders meeting, I guess that should be today. 5% off track to 351, a very nasty 2016 for Seplat. Oil production down for that E&P company. Gas production also went down. The shareholders and the directors will sort that out today at their annual meetings and the way forward for that company. And that's the index return for the sector on Wednesday, the final trading day in May. Year to date, still a 5%, but that's down from the broader markets, almost 9.7%. The dividend yield is now at 2.1%. Okay, look at what's in the news as far as the energy market is concerned, and part of this Amaka Ajayibo just spoke about in terms of gas flaring. The Senate public hearing in Abuja on Wednesday shows that Nigeria flares more than 75% of its gas. That's about 19% of the global total gas flaring. So we are one of the worst performers when it comes to gas flaring. We're injecting only about 12% of that into oil recovery. And that brings us to how much does that mean in Naira dollar? It means we're losing $2.5 billion every year to gas flaring. The Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, at the opening of the public hearing says it was, quote unquote, an embarrassment. Okay, take that away. Move on to the U.S. Energy Information Agency, the U.S. EIA, a latest report for 2016 and the first part of 2017 is on the street. Nigeria's oil revenue down 30% to $26 billion last year. Production down to about 30-year low on the Niger Delta troubles that was for the first half of 2016 in the main. For the first 4 months of this year, January through April, we netted $10 billion in oil revenue. Meantime, one news you most likely would have heard: the man Emmanuel Unorom is now back within the Transcorp Hess Holding fold. He's a former CEO of Transcorp PLC, the man who's been credited with the turnaround of Transcorp PLC is now Group CEO for Hess Holdings. We're back after the break. Stick around.